of reality are calling to each other. They could
interpenetrate.
That's right. And I can't give you an argument to prove that that's the case, because every argument presupposes that in some sense the grammar of reason and the grammar of reality must have some deep harmony. And the same thing with love, and the same thing with beauty. And these are profound ways in which...
I think faith is actually the willingness to posit the reality of that truth in the absence of final proof.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I think that's really important, because that's there's different notions of faith. And what I hear you saying, I might be wrong. What I hear you saying is faith is a recognition of the power, in the good sense that we're talking about here, the power of these primordial presuppositions that are central for participating in the logos, participating in the true, the good, and the beautiful. And that's a different notion of faith than the assertion of belief without evidence.
Yes, very, very much so. Well, and this is something that we concentrated quite a bit on in the gospel seminar, because, well, this is actually a problem that I have with the classic, what would you say? The standard Christian community. Well, now, because the Christians are all annoyed at me because I haven't proclaimed my faith in the propositional manner that many people who've adopted a creed would require. And so they're upset about that and on my case. And I find it quite distasteful in some ways. There's an invitational element, but there's a compulsion element. And the compulsion element is, first of all, the insistence that the faith that's necessary to define something like Christianity is actually propositional. Now, it should be the case that your propositional content is in alignment with your existential commitments. But for me, the fundamental move of faith is an existential move. And the danger in the propositional, this is the Pharisaic danger as far as I'm concerned, is that you substitute the propositional for the existential.
Totally. Well, and this goes, I talk about the four kinds of knowing: the propositional, the procedural, right, the perspectival, and the participatory. The participant, think about the two levels you've gone from being a model to perhaps having a representation of it, and then trying to capture that model in a set of propositions. You're now two steps removed from the actual knowing that is you being the microcosmic model of the macrocosm. That's participatory knowing. That's the knowing that makes all the other knowings possible. And
would that be understanding?
No, I think all the kinds of knowing have their own. I think understanding is a way of grasping the significance of what you know. And this isn't my idea. This is sort of pretty much almost consensus view in the philosophy of science, because you're trying to distinguish between when science is generating knowledge versus when science is generating understanding. Because science will often say things that are false in order to generate understanding. Here's the atom. It looks like a solar system. Well, no, it doesn't.
Right.
Not at all. Right. Here's how gas works. Here's the ideal gas law. Well, there's no such ideal situations in reality. Right. Catherine Elgin writes about this in True Enough. So True Enough. Yeah. Right. Why do you do this? It's not that you don't care about the truth. It's that she calls them felicitous fictions, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to properly orient on the significance of what is known, as opposed to give you evidence for coming to new beliefs and getting new knowledge. There's a difference there. And so I think understanding, and I get the illusion, faith-seeking understanding. I understand, but I think that they're a little bit different. I think you have these primordial propositions that are your primordial participation that make your cognitive agency possible, right? And then you I don't know what you properly orient and identify with them. And when you understand that, it's to step back and let them see how those primordial propositions are playing out. What's the significance landscape they're creating for you? That's what I think it means when
that seems to me to be associated